Ukrainian officials say at least 14 people were killed and at least 60 injured in the capital Kyiv after Russian overnight aerial attacks. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy calls them among the most horrific the capital's seen since the war began. He says Russia launched more than 440 drones and 32 missiles, striking homes, schools and key infrastructure. Further deaths were reported from strikes on Odesa, Sumy and Kherson. Russia's army says it targeted military industrial sites. DW's Nick Connolly is in a Kyiv suburb which was struck overnight. What happened when you are right now, Nick?
Ben, if you just look behind me, this is a residential building, very normal 9-story building, and this is what happens when just one of the 16 H-101 Russian cruise missiles that were fired at Ukraine gets to its target. All the other 15 were shot down according to Ukrainian sources, but you can see behind me that building, all the floors have basically been wiped out, apparently even down to the cellar. There are up to 10, 12 people still believed to be under the ruins. There's a picture that's done the rounds here in Ukraine this morning of crying parents basically standing just behind me looking at where they believe their son still to be, unsure whether he's dead or alive. All around bits of metal like this. We don't know if that's from the missile or just bits of metal destroyed in the impact, but you can just get a sense for quite how massive the destruction is. You can still smell burning materials, burning construction materials. There's a real dust all around, even though this was more than 6 hours ago. And you just see people dazed, walking around dazed all around me, barely got any sleep, and just trying to process what it is that's happened to them here.
Nick, the city faces Russian attacks almost every night, but the death toll this time is unusually high.
That's true. Kyiv is obviously the best protected place in Ukraine, but this is the biggest death toll since last July when there was that Russian strike on the children's hospital that claimed over 30 lives. There are different explanations of why this is happening. Some of it is about basically Ukraine's air defense is just running low, especially now with Trump in the White House, not in any hurry to resupply Ukraine. Ukraine having to offer money for supplies they were previously being given, and even that not happening with any big kind of sense of urgency. There's also the Russians have just changed their tactics. They are producing more and more of these Shahed drones that are also incredibly damaging, incredibly significant in what they can do. Just on the other side of the road from me here, you can see where a drone seemingly flew into a taller building, and they basically send hundreds of those drones in first, and then the cruise missiles come in once Ukraine's air defenses have been worn down or distracted.
So, Nick, what's it mean for Ukraine with Trump having left the G7 early and leaders left to discuss support for Ukraine on their own?
Well, President Zelenskyy of Ukraine was hoping to meet Trump at that summit in Canada. That is now obviously not happening. We've seen attempts basically to salvage that relationship with Trump by Zelenskyy in recent months, most notably at the Vatican there at the funeral of the previous Pope after the big falling out in the Oval Office earlier in the year. But there is a real sense that right now all the focus is on Iran, is on Israel, is on Gaza, and that right now Ukraine is struggling to get that attention and the resources to protect its citizens from these Russian onslaught.
The very latest from Nick Connolly in Kyiv. Thank you.